my Pilates people, welcome to my channel, Connect and Move. My name is Jessica. Today I have for you a unilateral reformer session. So lots of one-sided work and also working with an offset load, trying to stay square. No props needed for today. I will say though, we will be on our side for a part of class, like we will be on our hip. And we're also going to be placing our hand and our forearm on your end of your reformer here on your platform. So if you're like me and you have like this like sandpaper grit on the end, it's not always the most comfortable, right? Especially if you've got bare skin. So maybe some type of like towel or pad for that. And then also, like I said, for being on your hip. I don't think we're gonna be doing any kneeling today. Just a lot of like, again, unilateral work. So foot bar up in your footwork position. Headrest is up in your favorite position to start. And then I'm gonna start with some good spring tension, okay? I have 2 mediums and 2 light springs. So for balanced body, that is 2 reds, a blue, and a yellow. Now, if for footwork you feel good with both feet on, and then when we switch to one leg, you need to adjust your springs, fine, go for it, right? But I do want it to be some good feedback for footwork. So with all that being said, you've got all your bells and whistles, not too many, and then let's get moving. All right, so as always, make sure that you're centered on your carriage, turn your head from right to left, right? We check the spacing on the sides of our body here. So let's go heels on to start, somewhere in between hip socket and shoulder width distance apart here. Okay, so all 10 toes looking up to the sky. I want you to stretch your arms down and into the mat and just feel that long, heavy tailbone and the base of your ribs draw down. You decide if you're working in an imprint, a neutral, your neutral, whatever. I just want you to hold the position of your spine strong and stable. And then just go ahead and press the carriage out, checking in with your spine and pelvis. And then bend the knees, come right back in. So how that mat feels to your back when the carriage is in, it should feel exactly the same when the carriage is out. How the shoulder blocks feel to your shoulders should feel the same on both sides. So adjust accordingly. Maybe it's just a matter of like stretching the arms down and into the mat a little bit more. And make sure the weight is going right through the center of the heel. So for most of us, we have to think of the big balls of the feet pushing forward and the pinky toes pulling back. Let's just do 3 and 2. And last one, bring the carriage in halfway and pause right here. Again, take note of how the mat feels to your back. Can you keep it just like that and bring one leg up into tabletop? And just pause right here for a second and just adjust where you need to adjust and then place the foot back down. Carriage doesn't move, body doesn't twist, other leg comes up. We hold and just see what needs to happen to get balanced weight across both sides of your hips, ribs, upper back, and then place the foot down. And we just continue to march here, taking it slow. So if I was to only be looking at your torso, just your upper body right now, there would be no shifting. That's how smooth this needs to be. Last one here. Now everybody come up to a left leg and tabletop, right heel on. Get the weight right through the center of the heel, pull your right pinky toe back more, and then little pulses here. Little pulses, again, keeping the weight balanced in your back, in your ribs, and in your hips. For 3 and 2 and 1, hold the carriage still. Left foot comes down. Check all your boxes here. We pulse the carriage. One side might be easier than the other. Just make sure there's a little nod to your chin so the back of the neck is nice and open. For 3 and 2 and 1, pause the carriage, foot comes down. Just go ahead and press the carriage all the way out, keeping those ribs nice and heavy, and then bends the knees, come all the way home. Let's slide down onto your toes, still at that same distance apart. Every toe pad is connected, y'all, okay? So before we move the carriage out, just lift your heels up high and then lower the heels. Lift them up high and then lower the heels. One more time, lift them up high and lower the heels. Now find center, where you're neither super high, neither super low. Keep your heels still in space, and now press the carriage out, and then bend the knees, come all the way home. So again, same thing here. See if we can still keep balanced weight across right and left sides of your body. And then maybe shift your focus down to your feet and see, okay, do I have balanced weight across my toe pads, across the balls of my feet? And every now and then you could always like look up and just see, okay, do they look somewhat even? Or do I have one toe doing some random thing? Let's just do 3 more here. All right, now bring the carriage into that halfway point and pause here. I want you to lower one heel down as the other heel lifts, and then switch. So of course, once again, we're trying to stay square as one leg does one thing and the other one does another thing. And as one heel is going down, it should feel like the toes are reaching up and over. And as the other heel lifts, I want you to feel like you're pushing down on the foot bar. And see how big you can make your range. How controlled can you make your range through the ankle? Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Now keep one heel high, one heel low. Find this kind of push-pull action on the foot bar. And now we pulse the carriage out an inch and in an inch here. So the one heel that's high, I want you to pull down on the foot bar. The one heel that's low, I'm kind of pushing up into the foot bar, almost as if like my legs were like a pair of scissors or like moonwalking. Let's do 2 and 1. Pause the carriage, we switch. Same thing here. Aha. So one foot's pulling down, the other one's pushing up. Legs should look like a number 11, both kneecaps pointing up. I don't know about you, but my seat is starting to like warm up here. For 3 and 2 and 1. Pause the carriage. Find where your heels feel centered, and then press the carriage all the way out and hold here. All right, ribs stay heavy. Push your heels under the foot bar. Toes wrap up and over, and then lift the heels right back up. Feel like the back of your legs and heels are dragging across the floor, even as your heels lift up. So think of the top of your thighs staying long and almost relaxed as you do this. A lot of times when the heels lift up, the thighs want to bow up and they want to kind of pull back into our hips. It's like I'm trying to iron out the front of my hip creases as I do this. Remember, it's a flex and then a point. So let's do 3. Push the heels all the way under. And 2, go all the way under. And last one, let's go ahead and lift the heels up, bend your knees, come all the way home. Let's drop your headrest all the way down. All the way down. Maybe inch away from the blocks a little bit here. And then let's come back onto your heels, but maybe go a little bit wider. Like a healthy wide shoulder width distance apart. I've got a little bit of a turnout here. I'm gonna press the arms down and into the mat. Keep the carriage in, take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, you're gonna tilt your pelvis back to that 12 o'clock. Roll yourself up, up, up into bridge. Once you're there at the top, I want you to pause. Maybe just relax the neck a little bit more. Maybe arms get a little bit heavier and longer into the mat. And now before your hips come down, let your torso come down first. Torso comes down first. Keep lifting the butt creases up away from the mat. Lengthen the tailbone away as the hips roll down. Again, butt creases start to tilt back. They lift up, up, up. If it feels better to find a hinge bridge, please do you. Hold here at the top. Again, your chest is soft. Butt creases are lifted. And then melt down. Again, think torso down before your hips. Let's do that again. All right, roll yourself up. Keep the pull of the carriage in. And pause once you're at the top. I want you to lower your right hip down a little bit and then lift it back up. Lower your left hip down a little bit and back up. So try to keep your knees relatively stable. Try to keep your
upper body, stable, and it's just a hip twist, a little hip dip. You could always take your arms up to the sky here, totally up to you. Let's do 3. As one butt drops down, one cheek drops down, the other butt crease lifts up. Let's do 2. And 1 sounded better in my head. Now hold here. I want you to keep lifting your butt creases up away from the floor. Press the carriage out. Don't let the butt creases fall. Don't let the butt creases fall. And then pull the carriage right back in. Ribs are nice and heavy. It's only those butt creases trying to lift up. Legs may go straight, they may not. No worries. And let me just say, yesterday I filmed for you guys my hip focused reformer, and I'm not sure when it's going to be released in comparison to this, but I am feeling my hips from yesterday. I woke up thinking, oh gosh, I didn't do enough, but I am feeling them right now. So if you want more hip work, take that class. Now I want you to press the carriage out halfway and pause right here. Create as much space between your hands and your chest, and now roll your spine down just to the base of your ribs and then roll right back up. Carriage stays still. Keep lifting your butt creases up, ribs roll down, and then roll right back up. Can you also do this and then try to keep your head and your neck stable? Oh my goodness. For 2. And 1. Now pull the carriage in and hold right here. I want you to bring your right knee in, like over to your left thigh, and then back out. Bring your left knee, left thigh, over to your right knee and back out. So you're doing this with as little movement of your pelvis and of your torso as you can. It might not touch your thigh, that's okay. But we should be starting to feel some things in our back body. Maybe the cheeks could lift up a little bit higher. Let's do 2. And 1, find your start position and just roll down through your spine. Roll down, roll down. Oh, okay. Real quick before do anything else, cross your right leg over your left leg and just drop your legs off to the side. It doesn't matter because we're going to do both sides. And then legs go over to the other side. Should get a nice stretch in both directions. And then exhale, legs back to center. Let's switch legs. Can drop them off to whatever side first, doesn't matter. And then carefully switch to the other side. And then back up. Okie dokie. So let's stretch your legs out over the foot bar here. Legs are zipped up, reach the arms up to the sky, take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, lift the weight of your head up, grab on if you need, and roll yourself all the way up, up, up. All right. Let's take your springs down to 1 light spring. So we're gonna do a single arm in strap. I like a blue when I do this. I like a red too, but I'm gonna go a little bit lighter for today. So 1 blue spring, it's not my lightest spring, but it is a light spring. I'm gonna place my headrest back up. I'm gonna lie back down. Again, check to make sure that you're centered. And I'm gonna take my right hand, I'm gonna go into my short loop. Let's do that. Make your adjustments, y'all. So my left arm is just down by my side to start. And then right from the get-go, I'm gonna think of finding that long imprint. So it's not tucking to get imprint. I'm trying to find neutral and then I'm sinking my back into the mat, all right? With as little tuck of my pelvis as I can. Bring your right leg up into tabletop. Bring your left leg up into tabletop and pause right here. Are you level in your hips? Are both sides of your low back equally into the mat? Like truly check yourself here. Do the best you can. Keep that and then lower your right arm down. Make it a little bit longer. Keep the length in your neck as your arms come right back up. So here's your time to like, okay, what do I need to do to get square? Or what do I need to try to do to get square? All right, now go ahead and lower the arm down. and then work the reach out through the fists or the fingertips here. If it's available, could you curl your head, neck, and shoulders up? Look down at your low belly here. So both arms are reaching, just one is in resistance and the other is not. Can you straighten your left leg out and away? And then pull it back in. Can you reach it out? And then pull it back in. Of course, we're trying to stay square. For 2. And 1. Now bend the knee in. Everybody take your left hand and press it up against your left thigh. Straighten your right leg out. And then pull it back in. So as I'm pushing with my left hand, my left thigh is pushing back into my hand. Trying to stay square. Ooh, I'm on the struggle bus here. Let's do 3. And 2, head can always be down. Last one, take your right leg out, hold it here. Can you send your right leg out to the right a little bit? And then pull it back in. It goes out to the right a little bit, and then back in. For 2. And 1, leg comes in, bends the knee. We lower everything down. Awesome. Hang up that strap. Other side. Every side is different. Get yourself sorted. Nice broad collarbone, all the things. Leg up. Other leg up. All right, and let's just do this lower and lift. Maybe you look at your knees and see that they're level or as best as we possibly can. I don't know about you, but this side I just feel super twisted. Right, and I also want you to like really connect to that left armpit here because we're gonna need it after this little bit. For 2. And 1, lower the arm down again, finds the reach out through the arms so the neckline opens. And then when it's available, or if it's available, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. We stay square, right leg reaches out and away, and then back in. So think of the weight staying in your ribs right now as the leg stretches away. Oh my goodness. For 3, feel like you're pushing something away. 2. And the last one, bring it in, right hand up against the thigh. Ooh, I gotta put my head down, my stomach is on fire. So find that opposition, thigh to hand, hand to thigh, as that left leg stretches out. Weight stays into the ribs for 3. And 2. Last one, send it out, leg goes out to the side a little bit, and then pull it back in. No shifting of that right leg at all. I'm tracing the wall with those toes. Let's do 2. Wow. Last one, bends the knee. Everything lifts all the way back up. Oh my goodness. That was something. That was something, all right. Okay, let's go ahead and rock you up. All right, so now I want you to come down to your lightest spring. So we're gonna take that one spring that we just had, unless it was your lightest spring. So everybody come down to your lightest spring that you have. For me, that's my yellow spring, okay? So I'm gonna place my hand on my platform here, and I'm gonna bend both knees like so, okay? So I'm gonna try to keep the carriage in. If you need to adjust your spring, please, please do so, okay? I don't care what you do with your right arm, right? So I'm just facing you, so I'm on my left hip, and I'm gonna try to create as much space between my left ear and my left shoulder as I can, right from the get-go, all right? That's work in itself. Now, staying connected to that bottom armpit, I'm just gonna press the carriage out. I'm gonna guide it out, keeping the space in my neck, and then pull the carriage right back in. Press it out, and then pull it back in. And I'm thinking of that left elbow crease shining away from my body. So there's a little bit more push into that pinky side of the hand. And then I didn't even tell you, the hand, when it's on your platform, make sure it's either in line with your body or slightly in front. My ribs are nice and in. And again, adjust your spring tension. I want you to feel supported, but also challenged. Good, now I want you to go out to about halfway. Okay, not quite all the way out. And just feel the lift up through the ribs, right? Again, just check your boxes here. And then that bottom elbow, could you bend it? And then straighten it. Little like side tricep press here, all while keeping our neckline open, our collarbones open.
and the shoulder girdle is super stable. Make it smaller, bring it in closer if you need. And then really think of that elbow kind of swiveling in and forward as it bends. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling things. Feeling stuff just in my armpit, my shoulder, my arm. Let's do 3 and 2. And last one, press it up, pull the carriage all the way in. Okay, now we come down to our forearm, okay? My legs are gonna go straight through the shoulder blocks. If you need more support, you could bend your bottom knee. You could tape your bottom leg forward, okay? So we have lots of options here. Okie dokie. So either way, you are lifted up through your bottom ribs. Your hips are stacked, whether your bottom knee is bent or not. I'm gonna flex my bottom foot. That's for everybody. Bottom foot is flexed. Okay, think of your heel and the bottom leg pushing down. And already I can feel like my carriage is moving a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna think of pulling the carriage in and finding that bottom armpit here. This is all about shoulder girdle stability. It's about other things too, but let's just make it about shoulder girdle stability today. So I just want you to lift your top leg up a little bit and then lower it down. Lift it up a little bit and then lower it down. So as you're doing this, again, the ribs are not dropping, they're staying lifted. Hips are staying stacked. And then if you could, find a little bit more push through your bottom fist, through this left fist, than your elbow. Yes. And if you need more support, you just place another spring on, right? So go and lift your top leg up and pause right here. Again, how stable can you keep your shoulder girdle? The leg is gonna sweep forward and then it's gonna sweep back. It sweeps forward, it sweeps back. I personally find the harder position here with the top arm is maybe gonna be behind the head, maybe up to the sky. And there's a little movement in my torso here, but I'm trying so hard to keep the carriage stable, trying to keep my upper body stable. Ribs are in and lifted up. All right, now let's add some movement. As my leg sweeps forward, I'm gonna rotate and twist my upper body to the ceiling. And then as my leg sweeps back, I'm gonna rotate and kind of turn down towards the floor, but still keep the lift up through the ribs. My leg sweeps forward, do whatever you like with your top arm. Try to keep that carriage still. And then sweep it forward. Bottom leg is stable no matter where you're at. And tailbone is long. Last one. Up and over. And now find center and pause right here. I hope we're feeling things. I just hope there's things happening. Okay, so keep holding here. Point your top toes and little circles. Little circles. Again, you're pulling the carriage in from your bottom armpit. For 2 and 1, we pause. Reverse your circles. Work the back part of the circle and the upper part of the circle. For 4, 3, and 2, and 1, we lower the leg down. I don't know if that was actually tough or I'm just sore from yesterday's hip-focused reformer. You guys will have to tell me. So let's go ahead and come up. I want you to sit cross-legged. If this is not for you, you can have your feet hanging off. Do what you got to do to come seated. Okay, so my straps are to my right here. I'm going to take my left hand into my long loop to start. I don't care what you do with your right hand, but I want you to feel equally grounded down through your hips. We're sitting up nice and tall. And then all we're going to do is just row the elbow out to the side and then drag it across. So I know it's a light spring, but just we're going to get there, okay? So in this position, for me personally, I have to think of almost my left shoulder going back and my right shoulder going forward, because right now the spring tension is trying to pull me into rotation, and I don't want that to happen. So lots of options with that right hand, maybe on top of your head, around your waist. And now let's take it a step further. So elbow goes out. Keep your shoulder girdle stable. Extend the arm out. Shoulder girdle still stays stable. We bend the elbow, and then we cross the body. Elbow goes out. Strong straight wrist as you punch out. Guide it back in and across. And even from here, we are going to
Keep progressing. So let's just do one more like that. And now hold the arms straight. Can we now cross the body, staying square, staying square, staying square? 3 more like that. Elbow out, we punch out. Neckline is long. Again, sides of the neck, lots of space there. Elbow out, extend out. Notice if there's any shift happening in your legs, okay? Last one like this. We extend out, slowly cross the body. Now, we hold the arms straight. Can we pull the arm out and then slowly cross the body? Oh, is anybody feeling that system out there? Now, as my arm crosses my body, I'm gonna think of that right rib cage coming forward just a smidge more, just a hair. That's for me though, okay? If you've got mirrors around you and you're seeing staying square, keep doing what you're doing. Feel like your knuckles are scraping the room across you. Can we do 2 more maybe? Lower the arm if you need to, right? If it's going into your neck. Last one. Stable torso, and then slowly cross the body. Okay, so real quick counter stretch. Let's take your hands onto the blocks, and I'm gonna pull with my left hand and push with my right. And I'm just gonna get a little twist, maybe kind of come up and down here. And now I'm gonna take my right hand to my shoulder block. My left arm is gonna come up and over. I like to push my right elbow down into the other shoulder block so I can really get a good lift. And then I'm gonna add that rotation here. Just a little bit of spiral. Okay, let's do the other side. So we have to start with that bent knee position, right? Legs and hips are stacked. Right hand is on the platform now. And again, just make sure that you're in line. Either your hand is in line with your body or it's slightly in front. Okay, again, I don't care what you do with your bottom or your top arm. Arm stays straight. We press the carriage out. And then we pull ourselves back up. So there's a point where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm more like in more of a flat back. And then as I pull myself up, I kind of slink up and find a side bend at the top. But even as I'm coming down, I'm working the lift up through the ribs. And you are fighting for as much space between your right ear and your right shoulder as you can, or your bottom ear and bottom shoulder. And then see if you can just play around with getting a little bit more weight into the pinky side of your hand. You could even do this with a fist. I don't know. I don't like that one. I feel like it hurts my wrist a little bit, but play around with it. It could be good for you. And then think of your bottom elbow crease showing away from you. So many things to think about. Couple more here. This is your star right here. This is like a really broken down version of star. Press the carriage out halfway and hold right here. Again, collarbone is nice and open. I'm gonna bend the bottom elbow and press myself up. I bend. So the elbow, I'm thinking of it coming in and forward a little bit here. Think of your head being in line with the rest of your spine. And my shoulder girdle is nice and stable here. Wow, things are happening here. Let's do 3. Anybody else feeling this? And 2. Oh my goodness. Last one, arm goes straight, pull yourself all the way in. Wow, okay, bottom arm down. Legs, you pick where you want them. Bottom foot is flexed. Before we even do anything, I want you to push into that bottom fist, lift up through the base of the ribs, and work the pull of the carriage in. So we're still fired up through your bottom armpits. And now the top leg lifts, and then it lowers. So for most of us in this position, we have to think of the top hip rolling forward for most of us. Again, if you see that you're square, ignore that cue. Ooh, this side is way harder. Oh my goodness. Keep lifting up out of that waist. Now lift the leg up. We stay square as the leg sweeps forward and then sweep it back. And I'm not cueing any like point and flex here for this first few. You do you. Ooh, can we keep that carriage in? Can we keep the torso stable? This side feels way more unstable. Can you keep putting weight into your fist rather than your elbow? Let's do 2. Gazes forward. Now as that leg sweeps back, let's round up and over. So I'm looking down to the floor, I'm lifting up through my ribs, my top leg is getting longer, and then it's gonna sweep forward. I rotate, I look up to the sky, only as much as that shoulder allows. Big twist, big spiral. I don't know about you, but my carriage is all over the place right now. Lift up through the ribs. Sweep it forward. Again, hips stay stacked throughout this whole thing. So as I'm rounding or twisting forward here, I'm thinking of that top hip going forward as well. Couple more here. This feels good, but boy, oh boy, my top hip is on fire. So find yourself square. Oh my goodness. Top leg, lift it up, point the toes, little circles. Keep lifting up through the ribs. Keep your gaze forward. I feel like my form is all over the place, y'all. For 3, 2, 1, hold, and then reverse your circles. Whatever circle you can make. Oh my goodness. Space on your neck. For 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness, drop the leg down. Ooh, let's go ahead and come up. Let's go ahead and sit cross-legged here. Whatever position you had for the cross-legged on the other side, switch up your legs, okay? Because we always have a favorite side. All righty. So right hand in the strap, left hand wherever you'd like. Let's just do that draw a sword, hunky-dory, whatever you want to call it. And here's your time to get yourself square. And you've got a really good grip around the strap. And I want you to think of creating space in your upper back as you do this, right? So we're not like squeezing the shoulder blade to the spine. All right, now when you're ready, row the elbow out to the side. Elbow stays still as the arm extends, elbow bends, and then we cross. Think of your head being right over your ribs, right over your hips. Knees are reaching wide and down if you're in this crisscross applesauce position. Couple more here. And I'm having to think of my left ribs coming forward a little bit and my right ribs going back. Okay, the next time your arm is out and extended, keep it straight and stay square in your body as it slowly crosses. Strong straight wrist, elbow out, we extend, and then slowly cross. With my left hand on my left knee right now, I'm using it to kind of press back so I can work a little bit more into squareness. Again, you do you with that one. All right, now we extend the arm out. We hold it out, we hold it straight. We cross the body. And then we extend back out. Oh, this side feels way harder. Might have to feed the rope a little bit. Think of this coming from like your mid to upper back area. So again, if you're feeling this in your neck, I'm going to think of lifting up taller through the crown of the head and lowering the arm down a little bit more. Oh my goodness. Let's do 3. Think of making that arm a little bit longer. And 2. Last one, finish strong, slowly, slowly, slowly release it across the body. Awesome work, okay. Ooh, let's shake it out. In fact, before we do, our next little bit here, let's just come kneeling on your carriage and let's just do a little cat-cow. I don't care if your knees are wide here, if they're narrow together, doesn't matter. But just like swish the hips from right to left, maybe roll out the spine. Okay, so now let's come seated. Actually, I lie. We're gonna come lying down. Still on your same light spring. So I'm still on my yellow spring. I'm gonna lie all the way down. So when I'm down here, I am gonna inch away from my blocks a little bit, but I'm also gonna make sure that I have space like from my booty to the edge. So like right now, I mean, I don't even know if I have an inch, but I'm gonna see if that works. We'll see. Reach back, take your right strap, your right long loop, and place it on your right foot. Okay, right strap, right foot, closer to your heel than your toes. Let's go ahead and just stretch the legs up to the sky and just hold right here. My arms are heavy, my ribs are in, my tailbone is heavy as well. At least what I'm trying, all right? So keep the weight into your ribs, and can you lower the legs down a little bit? That's where I'm at today, and then lift them right back up. So my legs are zipped up. I don't care if you're in Pilates V or parallel, but think of like no daylight between your legs, and your legs are also in line with your center. Last one here. Lift the legs up. Now bend your knees in. Now I want everybody to find more of a Pilates V. Again, keep the weight into your ribs. And now can you press the legs out, 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 and then pull the knees right back in. So you have to pinch these heels together like crazy because obviously one leg is assisted and the other one is not. 2. And last one, press the legs out. Try to get them at like a 45-ish. And now pick the weight of your head up. Grab onto your legs if you need to. And then can you roll yourself up? I'm gonna grab onto the mat. I'm gonna grab onto the mat. Roll up. Find the top of your teaser. All right? You can let go. We'll eventually let go or not. And then let's roll yourself back. So keep reaching into the straps. Keep reaching into the straps. Once your head is down, bend your knees in. Woo! Let's do that again, right? Press the legs out. I like holding onto the mat for this one. I'm gonna pick my head up. I'm gonna look down at my low belly. I'm gonna bend at the spine and roll myself up. I'm gonna try to keep my legs exactly where they're at and then hold right here. We have options. Whew. We can take the elbows down behind us, okay? And then just feel our butt creases lift up. You can do this with arms reaching forward, totally up to you. All right, but let's get moving, shall we? My left leg is gonna lower, my right leg is gonna lift. And then I'm gonna scissor switch. So obviously your right leg may not move as much as your left leg because of this strap. But I want you to think of this coming from your stomach, right? So even if you're on your elbows like me, I want you to feel a lightness through the elbows. So more weight into the belly. Okay. Now, zip the legs up together. Find that Pilates V again. Can you bend the knees in? And then press the legs out. Keep lifting the butt creases up, 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 up. 2 more. Press the legs out. Reach, 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 reach. Last one. Press it out and hold with me. Right leg stays still. Left leg goes out to the side. And then pull it back in. Left leg goes out. And then pull it back in. A little retraction of the chin. We have 2. And 1. Zip the legs up together. And now roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down. Bend the knees all the way in. Anybody else? Just me? Okay, I really, really hope not. Hang up your strap. Left foot. Alrighty. So start with your head down. Arms are long down by your side. Legs are zipped up. Ooh, inner thighs. Okay. So weight stays into the ribs. We lower the legs a little bit and then lift right back up. So if you're like me right now and you're thinking, oh my gosh, my hip flexors, my thighs are like really on fire. I mean, my stomach is too. I want you to think of like really hollowing out your low belly and think of like drawing it down as the legs come up to like make space for the thighs. And that for me just takes it a little bit out of my legs and puts it back into my stomach. Okay, now bend the knees in, find your Pilates V or your frog. We press the legs out, keeping your heels in line with your center line. Inhale as the legs go out. Exhale as the knees pull right back in. Last one, press the legs out, hold them out there. I'm gonna grab onto the end of the mat, that's me. I'm gonna bend in my spine and I'm gonna roll myself up, up, up. When I'm here, maybe I could take one arm off. Maybe I could take the other arm off. Maybe I just do one at a time. Keep lifting up through the butt creases and then roll back. Try to keep the legs still in space. Try to get your low back into the mat first before everything else comes down. Once you're down, bend the knees in, press it right back out. We lift up, right? Roll up, roll up. Oh, this side is tough. Equal weight into both hips, y'all. Good. Elbows come back if that's for you, okay? Otherwise, arms are reaching forward or hands are still at the front edge of the mat. Right leg lowers, left leg lifts. Again, think of the weight of your body going into your belly and into your ribs. And it's almost like I'm trying to get the waistband of my pants into the mat, even though I know that's not gonna happen. Now we zip the legs up, knees bend in, exhale, 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 and then inhale, press the legs out. Exhale as they bend, inhale. So I'm still trying to keep my chest nice and open. I'm trying to stay light on my elbows because eventually I would love to do this with no hands. This is tough. Let me know if you did this with no hands. Press the legs out, and now we hold stable. Right leg goes out to the side a little bit, and then drag it back in. Goes out to the side a little bit, and drag it back in. Keep trying to lift the bottoms of your booty up, up, up away from the floor. Last one here. Leg goes out, it pulls back in, and slowly, slowly roll all the way down. Oh, bend your knees in. Holy cannoli. Okay, so let's stay on this strap. I forgot to do it on the other side, but we'll go back to it. Take your right foot onto the floor. Onto the floor, into the well. It could be onto the outside of the well, doesn't matter. Your left leg, you can bring it up straight. You can keep it bent in. But with the right foot going into the floor, you're trying to connect the heel. That's what you're trying to do. It doesn't have to, but I'm just hoping that will deepen the stretch on the top of your right thigh a little bit. Okay. And then just to keep the flow, take the strap and place it on your right foot and bring your left foot down to the floor. Just so we can keep the carriage out. Now for my people that are on these really short reformers, you can just take that same side hand and just grab onto the ankle or the foot and just get a thigh stretch that way. Again, your right leg can go straight, it can go bent. And just breathe here. Okay. All right, let's carefully unstrap you. Let's bring the carriage all the way in. Let's roll you up. Let's place your foot bar up. And then I want everybody to come to one medium spring. So one medium spring to finish. So I'm gonna place my left knee onto my carriage. My right foot is forward for our Eve's lunge here. So my hands are gonna come onto the foot bar to start, or maybe not, right? So before we even press the carriage out, I want you to feel a drive back through that back heel and then kind of a reach of your left hip more forward. I'm gonna drop my tailbone, and that alone right there like is a really good stretch for me. So I'm gonna try to stay as upright as I possibly can. Now my front knee's gonna bend. I'm gonna press the carriage back just to deepen the stretch, and I'm just gonna hold here. Keep trying to push your heel back and spiral your left hip forward as your right hip goes back.
Now, if you'd like, you can of course stay here, or we can go kind of lower into that lunge. So maybe we get more into the right leg. You could even go straight leg. I see some people do that a lot. And then something else you can do no matter where you're at. Right hand can stay on the foot bar and your left arm can come up and over. And I'm just now realizing that we forgot to do those little stretches on that opposite side after that, all that side series. So sorry, y'all. We'll make up for it here. Keep pushing back through that back heel. And then let's carefully bring the hand down. We square off and let's bring the carriage in. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. Left foot forward, right foot back. And then again, before you do anything else, I want you to find the stretch here in the front of your hip if you need it. So I'm thinking of my tailbone going down, the front of my hip lifting up to that bottom rib, and a strong push back through the heel. And then I'm going to try and keep that and maybe just accentuate it more as I press the carriage back. So I'm still thinking of that right hip coming forward more. And then eventually I come down. A lot of times we just sink down and our chest comes forward. And like for me, I feel this more in my low back and less in the front of my hip or thigh. Remember, your front leg could go straight. Again, this is, everybody's different. Everybody needs a different stretch. And no matter where you're at, you can keep your left hand down and reach your right arm up and over. Keep energy going back through the center of that heel. Take a big breath in here. And then on your exhale, hand is going to come back down. We bring the carriage in and you are done. That was good stuff. I really enjoyed all that unilateral work because it really just brings out all of our things, right? So let me know how you did. Let me know what you felt, especially in that like teaser work on your hands or not on your hands. Let me know how you did. Let me know what you felt. I appreciate you guys. Thanks.